The LG G4c has arrived, and of course the C stands for compact. So at least LG will tell us that this is a compact version of that flagship here, the G4. But there are more differences than you should think about. Starts of course with the backside. You will not have that leather backside, just that regular plain plastic here. But let's be honest, for a price, at least here in Germany, Europe, it starts at 230 euros without any contract. Instead of here, the G4 at the moment is around about 510. So meaning you have a difference of 280 bucks, less than half the price. I guess in this case, most of you can live with that one, especially because less can be more, because it's more compact, it's lightweight, 136 instead of 155 grams. You can reach the opposite corner a little bit better because it's just 70 instead of 76 millimeters. You will say, just 6 millimeters, but don't misunderstand that, because in the width, the 1 millimeter can be a big difference, because it depends on how you're feeling, how compact a phone is. I measured a difference in volume of 12%. That's a little bit more compact here on the compact, of course. And you should know that the display is just 17% smaller. You have a diagonal of 4.98 inch, and here it's 5.46. So just 17% for less than half the price. That seems to be a good deal, I think. But on the other hand, you should be aware. Let's go, for example, here in the app launcher like that, and a little bit closer so that you can see you won't have the same resolution, of course. You know, the G4 has that extremely high pixel density, 538 ppi, and here we just have 720 by 1280 pixels, coming to only 295 ppi. That's way below the average, but on the other hand, you see, okay, there is a difference, but nevertheless you can read all these text. Or let's go to a photo, for example, like this one here. It's totally okay, you see all the details. Yes, if you look carefully, you see the differences. Yes, there must be a difference in that price range, of course, but it's okay. On the other hand, you might have detected that the G4 is a little bit more brighter. Yes, I measured 504 nits, and here it's just 381 nits. 17% below the average, but still okay. But something you really should know is, yes, it's IPS like the G4, but it's not dual domain, meaning you will not have that same viewing angle stability like you can detect here in this angle, for example. It's hard to get it here in the camera with all these lights around me, but I hope you can see a little bit here what I'm meaning. So it's okay, it's good quality and everything, but on the other hand, you do not have that top viewing angle stability. Again, for this price, I guess most of you can live with that. But there is way more. Let's start on the back. First of all, camera. You won't have that optical image stabilizer. That's for the big difference in you do not have 16, but just only 8 megapixels. So especially in low light situations, you will see a bigger difference. In addition, you do not have that laser sensor that makes more precise and quicker focusing all the objects. And you do not have that additional sensor here measuring the light temperature of the surrounding and the motif. So white balancing here on the G4c will be not that good like on this one. And last of all, you do not have that color tone flash, just one regular white LED over here. And no 4K videos, but that should be clear in that price range, I guess. And on the front side, you make selfies with 5 megapixels instead of 8, but be honest, for this price range, 5 megapixels is totally okay. Yeah, and then let's go to the internals, because first of all, let's start with the processor. It's of course not the Snapdragon 808 from the big one, 6 cores, 1.8 gigahertz, 3 GB RAM, but just only it's the Snapdragon 410. That's very, very small one, just 4 cores, just 1.2 gigahertz. You have a smaller graphics module and only 1 gigabyte of RAM. I had expected 2, but in this price range at least, but just 1. So I know what the benchmark results will look like. Of course, they will follow in the final test, yes, but at the moment you can say it's a total different league. Here you see that combination slot. Down is the micro SIM and up here it's the micro SD card. Officially supported only with up to 32 gigs, but I tried out a SanDisk with 128. No problem at all. So meaning there is no guarantee that all cards and of all manufacturers above 32 gigabyte will work with that, but you have a good chance. Yeah, battery. I find it great that LG is still some of the manufacturers. You can remove the battery if you want to, can insert a second one. And the 2540 is, yeah, good capacity for this display, and especially in the runtime test results, it was really great. 543 minutes, 15% above the average, and especially way more than the 459 minutes the G4 did. 3% below average. So of course you have that more pixels and bigger display. So compared to that, the G4c is not doing that good a job. But if you're just looking for a phone that's lasting as long as possible, you go better with the G4c. Sure. No problem with that, yeah. But on the other hand, you should know there are differences in the feature settings. It starts with LTE. You only have 150 megabit per second support instead of 300. But let's be honest, if you have a network that's doing that capacity, you will be more than happy. What I wanted to say is especially you do not have Wi-Fi AC. You do not have Wi-Fi N 5 gigahertz band. That's only supported by the G4, and especially the internal memory. Of course, it's not 32 gigabyte long on the big one, but only 8 gigabyte. I had expected at least 16, especially if you compare the net memory sizes. Here, if you have updated all your pre-installed apps, it's 20.7 gigs, that's totally okay. But here just left 2.26 gigabyte. That's, yeah, let's say if you're using your phone not that much, are a beginner or whatever, this is okay. If you have only your 30, 40, 50 apps, no problem at all. You will need a SD card, of course, for your multimedia data, but this is okay. But if you have lots of apps, and with that, more apps that you cannot be moved to the SD card, you will have more calendar entries, more contacts, more messages, more everything, then at least think what the hell will be in 2 or 3 years when you're using this phone. Everything explodes in data, so you have bigger apps and you will surf more, and I do not know. So this can be a problem. At least it's better than the Sony Xperia. Remember, the M4 Aqua left just from 8 gigabyte only 1.4 gigabyte. That's something I would not buy at all. Here, around about 2.3 gigabyte, you can discuss about that. So, you know, be aware, calculate how much data space, internal data space you need, and then you now know. Yeah, I hope I could help you a little bit with that, and just wanted to say, last of all, here we go in the settings, have a look on the Android versions, because there's smaller difference. Here we have at the moment 5.1, and this is only 5.02. You can do everything that you want to, but you should know that at the moment that's not 5.1. One more difference between the G4c and the G4. So you could come to the conclusion that this is just looking like a G4, but not really worth the name, because you could have named that, I do not know, G 60 or whatever. So not only just G4, you know what I mean. So now you know the facts. I hope I could help you a little bit with that. And please be so kind to recommend my channel and to subscribe to it. Thanks for that in advance and take care. Bye.